Hi everyone. Today I'm going to give you a brief overview of the science behind essential oils. That way you can understand why when it seems like it's a miracle, it's actually nature working at its best. A lot of the reference that I'm going to take is from the Healing Oils of the Bible by Dr. David Stewart. This gentleman is very knowledgeable. I love the way he teaches. I love the way he shares in his books and his lectures. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on YouTube. He brings it down to a level that people like me can understand and share. He also believes that Young Living Oils is the only oils that you should be using because of its purity. But that said, how do essential oils work? Well, I like to tell people that when you take something that's in nature and you put it with something else that's nature and you combine them, the nature part of it is going to combine and they're going to do what nature does best. And that's basically in a nutshell, just as though you took like two Legos, a red one and a blue one. It doesn't matter what shape this one is or that one. Chances are they're going to fit together and work nicely because they're both Legos. Well, that's what's going on. You're taking the lifeblood of a plant, just like in the humans, we have blood. The plant has a lifeblood. Inside the lifeblood, that's the essential oil. That's what works with inside the plant to keep it healthy. When it gets sick, it works really hard to heal the plant. Just like when we get a cut or a bruise, our body's going to work together to hurry up and put a scab over the bruise and begin to repair itself. So what we're basically doing is taking the healing properties of the plant and then putting it within our bodies in order to work. Now, why does this work so much better than a pharmaceutical? Well, because essential oils are the only component that is so tiny that it can get through the blood barrier. Now, what is the blood barrier? The blood barrier is a barrier around the brain that acts like a sieve, and very few molecules can get through it because it's so tiny. But essential oils can break through it. Now, in chemotherapy, the molecules of that is very, very big, so it can't get through it. So you have a really hard time doing chemotherapy treatments on brain cancers or brain tumors. Anything with the brain is really hard to get through. So a lot of times you're going to find that essential oils are going to be your best bet when dealing with things, particularly with the brain. But everything that we have in our body starts off in the brain. So when essential oils can actually get into the brain, which controls the entire body, you know that there's going to be a chain reaction. The first system that it's going to get is called your olfactory system. Now, when you breathe or you inhale essential oil, right away it goes to that center part of your brain, which is also called your limbic system. This is often called your emotional brain. And the reason why they say that is because that part of your brain is kind of like a computer. And it will store all your different emotions from all your experiences, whether you had pain, physical pain, or whether you had an emotional pain. Because remember, your body doesn't always know the difference between a physical pain or an emotional pain. So it just knows, uh-oh, something hurt me. So it's going to store that pain somewhere in your body. Believe it or not, where it stores it is not always within your brain like we once thought. It's actually stored throughout different parts of our body. So perhaps you're having a liver problem. Well, that could be an emotion that's tied into your liver part of your brain and is being stored in there. A lot of times they're finding that women get a lot of breast cancer, and the reason why is because the women have their emotions are tied into their breasts and they're loving. And when they have an inability to love, a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of times the limbic system will store some of that pain in the breast tissue, which for me, I was really surprised to get that information when I read it. So When you get an essential oil and it reaches through your entire body, through the limbic system, then all of a sudden you're able to release some of those memories that have been stored, and your body can then begin to process them through, maybe you will dream through, get it through, your body will be calmer, or maybe it's just a matter of flushing it through your system. But at any rate, understand this, you are triggering that emotion to help push it out of your system. So you are going to be cleansed from those emotional or physical toxins that are in your body. And that is done, again, through breathing it in, inhaling it, or if you're going to taste it, but at any way, it's going to get into your body, because you have 100 trillion cells within your body. Now, the molecules inside just one drop of an essential oils is 40 million trillion. Now, if you're anything like me, I don't do air math. I'm not very good at math. I rely on calculators and such. But if you do the math, that comes to one molecule having the ability to cover each of your cells in your body within about 15-20 minutes, depending on the particular oil, about 400,000 times around every cell. Now, what's even more exciting is now when it's covering your cells in all your bodies, then three things are going to happen. And some oils are going to have more of one or more of the other and whatnot. But pretty much PMS is going to happen. And what the PMS is you're going to have your phenols and your monoterpenes and your sesquiterpenes. Now, what are those big words? I had to look it up. I don't have those memorized. What do they do? Well, basically, I tell people that essential oils are going to get into your body system. They're going to surround your cells, and they're going to do three things. 1, 2, 3. First, they're going to cleanse your cell, cleanse the membrane, because there's a membrane around your cell. And if you have like a virus, your virus can only reproduce itself by getting inside your membrane and stealing the parts from inside your membrane of your cell. So it's basically a thief, and then it's going to reproduce. Well, it's very hard for any kind of drugs to get in there to stop that reaction, because it can't break through that molecule because it's not tiny enough. The molecules in a lot of pharmaceuticals are too big, but essential oils are very small, so it will get in there. So once it gets in there, it's going to cleanse through. First, it's going to break through, and then it cleanses because it's nature and nature, so your body's not going to kick it out. It's going to combine with it. So once it's in there cleansing, it's cleansing the receptor cells, receptor points of your cell. So in your body, a healthy cell will talk to this cell and this cell and this cell, and it'll tell your body, I need more oxygen, I need more water, I need more this, I need more that. And that's how your cells can be healthy and reproduce healthy. But when you have a virus in there, it can't ask for help. Or if it does try to ask for help, it's not able to receive it because the virus is present. So when you have a phenol in there, it's cleaning it out. It's getting that virus or toxins out of that area. So then the monoterpenes. Well, the monoterpenes will reset it, because all of a sudden now you've broken through the barrier of any virus, you've got it back in the cell, and you're starting to strengthen the receptors can now talk to the rest of your body systems and give it what it needs. So the monoterpenes are able to deliver the appropriate nutrients that that particular cell needs in order to go back and function the way it properly needs to. Once it receives its proper nutrients, then the DNA within that particular cell that it was originally created to have begins to go back to its original form, which is really, really exciting. And then the sesquiterpenes is the third one. The third one will basically bring an extra measure of oxygen to that particular cell, and that is going to also help to reset and rebuild. they refer to it as reprogramming the cell. So anything that was negative in there, now it's going to be reprogrammed, and it's going to go back to wanting to get the positive elements or functions that it needs in order to grow. So quite simply, when you boil it all down to it, you take something from nature and you add it into your body that's also nature. They combine, they work together, they do what they do best together. They're going to clean, they're going to reset, and they're going to strengthen your body to go back to its own natural healing properties. So are the oils the one doing the healing? Well, if you get down to it, no, it's not. It's really your own magnificent body doing what it does best, which is heal itself. And that is really exciting. One other thing that I want to talk to you about was frequencies. Just like a frequency on the radio, there's radio frequencies. Well, everything that's alive and living also has frequencies. Our body has frequencies, and there are special machines that can rate the frequencies in your body. Now, a healthy body is going to be measuring around about 62 to 68 megahertz. When it is at that frequency level, then basically all the cells are able to vibrate and work very healthy and efficiently. When it lowers down to about a 58 frequency, that's when you're going to start to slow down. You're going to start to possibly show signs of sickness and whatnot. And then when it gets down to 52 megahertz, then things like cancer will start to happen. And that's because your body doesn't have enough frequencies in it to recreate the cells properly and healthy. So then you're going to have the cancerous cells, which is basically a cell that's started to reproduce incorrectly. So that's when that starts to happen. And then at 25 megahertz, your body's going to start starting the dying process. So knowing this science, you want to always make sure that whatever you're taking into your body has high frequencies. Let's say, for example, a cup of coffee. Now, I know a lot of people like coffee, and not to say that coffee is entirely bad. It's yummy. People enjoy it. Everything within moderation is good. But understand, if you take a cup of coffee without even drinking it, but because you're holding it and you're inhaling the smell of it all, your body will actually lower in about 8 megahertz. But if you drink that coffee, it's going to lower about 14 megahertz. Now that seems like really significant when you're trying to keep your body at 62 megahertz. You know, frequencies up and down. And they're temporary and whatnot. But just to give you an example, now when you add an essential oil in there, each of the essential oils are going to have different frequencies. So you're basically giving your body a boost of an extra frequency on top of it. So not only are you hitting it with the 1, 2, 3 punch of the PMS that I was talking about, the cleansing and reset and strengthening, but now you're going to give it the extra energy to boost its natural frequencies in your body. Another thing to keep in mind, which I find very exciting, is your mood. The happier you are, the higher your frequency is in your body. So if you're going through a bad day or you've gone through depression, well, go through whatever emotions you need to go through, because that's natural. That's how you cleanse it out of your system. But hurry up and get back to your happy self as quick as possible, because those positive frequencies need to come into your life. Whether you need to call a friend, or you need to watch a comedy movie, or maybe go play with a baby. Babies always make people happy, or usually make people happy. But make an effort to make yourself happy. Because after studying what I've studied, I've really seen how your body works on happiness and you know, making sure you're up. Scientific studies have even shown, even if you fake a smile, you know, just do this, even though you're sad, your body doesn't necessarily know the difference, and it will send happy hormones going in your body. Well, So it'll help in your healing process. So all said and done, the science behind essential oils is basically nature and frequencies and all of it working together. And also another thing to keep in mind is if you are happy when you're taking your essential oils. Now remember how I said the frequencies of being happy will bring you up? Well, you take the essential oils that brings in high frequencies and then add happiness to it, you just boost it up even further. And for those of you who like to pray or meditate, believe it or not, praying and meditation is another huge frequency booster. So put all those together: happiness, prayer, essential oil, a good diet, a positive attitude. You are on the road to really great health. So hopefully I've given you everything in less than 20 minutes of the science of essential oils. Please do me the favor, leave me some comments. Good, bad, indifference, preferably good. Ask me some questions. Give me something to research. I'm really excited about learning about essential oils, and I want to know all your questions. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.